The person who's made the biggest leap this year, in my opinion, and has affected the team the most, Jalen Suggs, by making little plays like this, being that energy player. Because understand like as to what this brings and why he can't play the one, right? With the way as to which he plays at this position, with so much aggression, so much tenacity, if you put him at the one, he can't do that at the one because you need pace, you need patience, you need poise. But putting him at the two, you allow him just to freely do this right here. Be aggressive on both sides, just to go all out on defense, not have to worry about converting it back over on offense, and you let him be your energy guy. And that's something all great teams have. Right here with Jalen Suggs. Now, one of the reasons as to which Jalen Suggs isn't necessarily the best one, is more so a better two, is because little things like this in terms of playmaking, right? Making these decisions a little too early, right? That aggression that he has is on defense has now translated onto offense and has now forced him to rush a lot of the plays that he makes. Because in a situation like this, you want to get yourself more in a spot to where you really force this big to make a decision. Like you get right here around this elbow, you get Goga Bitadze in a spot to where the roll is really a threat, right? And now he's sitting there in between saying, which one should I go to? Should I go take away the roll, take away the pass, or take away the shot? And now that's when you could really decide to make that play. But he's not comfortable in those areas at all times. And so that's why he's really a better two, especially since he's also added a little bit of a jumper as well. And so these little areas would be tough for Jalen Suggs. This is where Jalen Suggs has made the improvement for him to actually play a two, right? Doing little things like this right here. You see him already ready, set to shoot, but can you knock it down though? Can you knock it down? That's the real question, right? And he has been able to knock it down, not at like 40% or anything like that, 35 around that area, to where you're respectable, right? To the point where if defenses do decide to help in this much, you cool. Like you ain't got to worry about it too much. You're going to be able to step in and your teammates trust you to be able to take this shot. And so if Jalen Suggs is simply adding this little bit of improvement, he's playing to his strength. Look, for Jalen Suggs' part, right, this is where you can activate that aggression. Playing in transition to where you already know these reads and the game is already up-tempo, right? And if you see your gaps, right, going attacking Terry Rozier one-on-one, him backpedaling, this is the opportunity for you to be able to say, all right, let me go and attack. You got Williams, shot blocker, out the play. Everybody else, non-shot blockers, non-rim protectors. And now you're just facing Terry Rozier. At that point, easy lays. He's not going to be able to stop that. He's going backwards. And so he's got to learn when to pinpoint and when to activate this aggression. And transition is going to be one of those situations. Understand this though, right? How gullible bigs would be in situations, especially right here, right? When you get in a position where you force them to make a decision, the second they see the ball go somewhere, they're going to bite most times, right? And so showing that ball high just for a split second caused Mark Williams to also go high. He jumps with that. Drop down to Bitadze, boom, roll, easy two. Because this contrasts strikingly to that last one I told you about, right? Remember that pick and roll? Where I told y'all, the pick and roll, where I was saying he needs to be able to get himself in a position to where he could be able to force a big to make a decision. This is how deep you got to get. This elbow area, right inside this paint, right? Not sitting outside this paint, not one step inside the three-point line. You got to get in the paint, right? To where the big is also rolling as well, and they're a threat. So now you force them to bite out on something when you give them a fake. Jalen Suggs be working, right? Notice him on his weak side, boom, tagging us roll, take away that, boom, close out, right? But most importantly, it's what's going to happen after he makes this switch right here with Terry Rozier. Right, this is going to be the big part. And that's something you're going to see him do every single time. And it's something that barely any players will do at this level of consistency, which is fighting through screens. You're going to see him get so many players get called for moving screens because he's fighting through every single one of them. If there's a defender who does not want to stop moving and wants to stay with the ball, the screener has to be so disciplined, and not many players are disciplined when it comes down to screening. Notice his aggression, right? On these ball screens. Like, this is something you don't see players do. This is something you just don't see players do consistently and want to do every single play. Like, it just doesn't happen often. Cole Anthony Loki sold that right there. But just understand this though, right? Like how he's angling himself, how he's positioning himself to be able to get in these spots. Right, look. Pass gets made to Gordon Hayward. Now, the key about this right now is how far out Gordon Hayward is from that three-point line at this point in time, right? And so this gives Jalen Suggs more room to be able to step up, slim up his frame, and play with a little more aggression because he's not necessarily a threat at this point in time, right? And nor has Gordon Hayward set this up. And so that aggression right there forces Hayward to turn his back. Turning his back, Jalen Suggs, as a defender, slims up his frame to where he could be able to get over the top of that screen, because Gordon Hayward is not trying to control him, and it's more so Jalen Suggs is controlling Gordon Hayward. Now, boom, he tries to step over there, set that up, leaves the ball exposed while doing so, and now, boom, turnover. He's just working, right? Ball screens there. Oh, I'm going to make you work on this, because not a lot of players like to set up screens, nor do screeners like to screen. And so this just works perfect for Jalen Suggs, right? LaMelo with the made lay. Boom. Made it. Paolo down the floor. LaMelo down as well. Paolo's going to end up getting up. But this is why Jalen Suggs isn't necessarily the greatest point guard. But with the energy that he puts defensively, these shots hurt you as a team because they're bad shots, but he's got to learn when to filter these shots out, right? To where you just getting down the floor, you have some space, 20 on the clock, and you just take a pull up, right? I know you put in a lot of work on the other side, right? But this is not necessarily the best shot for you to take freely, right? Hold that trigger back a little bit to where you get a little better of a look, not so early in the clock, and it's not so much of a settle. And then you can be able to take those free shots, you know what I'm saying, just to keep yourself engaged on both sides. Look at this. All just because he wants to fight. Even though he knows he should go over on Terry Rozier, he gets caught under, he's still going to fight through it because screeners are undisciplined at all levels. And the second that y'all realize that, high school, college, middle school, junior Magic, to pros even, screeners are undisciplined. Players don't really want to screen. And if you just simply give a little bit of effort, you'll be able to get that. You'll be able to get a moving screen call oftentimes, right? And if you don't, you will end up getting rewarded. I promise you that. Tapped in once again. But watch Jalen Suggs, right? In the game, you're not going to get passes directly to your shot pocket, right? You're going to have to relocate and find the ball and find space. And now look at his toes, right? That's proprioception coordination to be able to catch that, be able to let it off, and not just that, be able to make it. So stop being so mad when a player throws you a bad pass in a workout. Shoot the shit. That's how a game's going to be like. Stop getting mad about all that other shit. Oh, threw a bad pass, throw the shit back. Oh, throw it back. You're not really preparing yourself for a game. This might be one of the most improved players in the NBA, but it's going to go unnoticed, right? He's been becoming an irritant, somebody who's aggravated, someone who's really just there and bringing the entire team energy. And realize what he did on that very last play too. Dime, shot, look. Franz, break, watch Jalen Suggs. Miles Bridges on the rebound. Instead of poking for the ball right here, trying to get a steal, watch what he's going to do, right? Miles Bridges is going to turn his back thinking, oh, he's not going to steal on that first attempt, right? And so now Houston right here, boom, makes him bring that ball over to the other side. And now Jalen Suggs reaches for the ball, hits his thigh, goes out of bounds. He waits till the ball's in a spot to where I could actually make a play on it. And I'm not just going to reach just to reach. Patience is key. Notice, first screen happens, right? Boom. Gets over the top of that one. He's trailing at this point, right? But notice this next one. Slips it. And instead of continuously trailing, notice how he's going to cut the angle, right? Cuts the angle to get back in front. Change the pace right there by Rozier. Keeps the angle for him. But ultimately, as a guard in that situation, never continue to trail the hip, right? Why trail the hip if you can get back in front? Because that's your goal, right? Cut those angles. And now it leaves him at a point where, boom, he's hitting that lay, and it's not as clean of a look as he anticipated it being had Suggs remained on that hip.